Live.
All right, everybody. This is the Fading Embers broadcast brought to you by Empty Wonderland Collective. And it's been a minute. It's been a minute. We've had a whole lot of life stuff happening, and everybody's been super busy. Heather's been at conferences. I've been at conferences. Trevor been in school. And I think this is the first time in a while, like all three of us have been together for anything. And this is like the first episode that we've all been together at one time for anything, isn't it? This is the first time all three of us been on an episode.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I can't remember. I think the last one was Good Religion.
Oh yeah, we did talk about Good Religion.
I think that's the only one. Outside of that, there's a lot has happened since Good Religion, though. Yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I gotta get on rules, and I gotta get on that now. I was like, dang it.
Yo, that Americana is no joke, son. But I mean, that's me saying that having listened to a single and the Get a Bar. I have the album, but I haven't listened the whole way through it. So
yeah, I gotta get on that.
If you ever see this dude, my bad. It's like, November 5th, and I own it. I got it. I pre-ordered it. I just haven't listened to it. You guys are so dope. I just don't want your dopeness to influence the music that we're making right now. Like, whatever. He's never gonna see this. But this Empty Wonderland Collective. I'm the creative director. I'm Julian Ben. I'm based out of Baltimore, Maryland. We've got everybody introduce yourselves. I'm gonna do it for you.
I'm the least deserving one, Baltimore, Maryland. Spoken word artist, kind of a rapper. Yeah.
Say kind of a rapper.
Kinda. Get my feet wet.
Yeah. I'm Trevor. Currently a seminary student again. Looking at getting into global studies to have a better understanding of culture to preach the gospel. So alongside that, like I do work, but I want to get children's books and stuff like that out. So like that's the goal for the next year, is to get certain things like that. But school has been so fun. It's been excellent. I mean, I was like, man, these are people you want to break bread with, and just get like as much as you can from them, because these guys have traveled the world preaching the gospel. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So in the essence of time, any of you viewers who are new to us, you want to know what Empty Wonderland is about, at the end of this video, just go down and check the description. You'll have all of our social media stuff. You'll have our website and everything like that. We believe in Jesus. We also believe that God has given a diverse set of creativity to the world, whether you are saved or not. God's common grace has allowed people to be creative. We're appreciators of artistic expression and art and culture, and we're just trying to breathe our worldview into the narrative, and we think that it should be good art. We think that it should be a good message. It should be well expressed, and we just want to do it clearly. If you've seen any of our past stuff, we've done interviews. We've done some book reviews. Our last sessions, it was like a 3 or 4 part series where we were reviewing a book called Daddy Issues, and now we are going to review an album that was just dropped, I think last week or week before last, by Humble Beast Records. The artist is Sho Baraka. This is his debut album with Humble Beast, but his third studio recorded album. It's called The Narrative. It has got 14 tracks. If you bought the iTunes version, as opposed to going to the website and getting Humble Beast, getting it for free from Humble Beast website, which all their albums are available for free.
Cass was begging for them extra trade. Like, man, I don't want to pay them dollars. But can you give me them? Like, no, spend money. This dude got a family.
Pretty much, dude. He got real needs. Yes, please go and support the album on iTunes. But if you don't have the bread, or if you're a skeptic, it is available for freely given by Humble Beast on humblebeast.com. If you can't tell, we are supporters of Humble Beast. They have influenced and helped us in various ways, and so we like to review their stuff because we think they know what they're doing and they make great art. We're just gonna dig into it. It's like 9:38 p.m. Eastern Standard right now. I'm gonna try to do as little like my opinions on the stuff. I'm just gonna let Heather and Trevor really go at it. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna issue questions and I'm gonna let them jump at it. So Slight overview: Sho Baraka. He used to be signed to Reach Records, one of probably the largest Christian hip hop label that's out there. Definitely the one that's got the most
Yeah.
reach and distribution out of that little subgenre of hip hop. He used to be on Reach Records years ago. Then he went independent, and then he just recently signed to Humble Beast Records. It's been 2 or 3 years since his last album, and so now he's doing it again. The album, he's talking about the basic concept of that in our country's history, there's always been sort of a dichotomy as to how you view the world. You're either going to be, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that there's really no such thing as injustice, that it's really just an opportunity to work as hard as you can to make a life for yourself, or then you have that other narrative, which is sort of like the victim's mentality, that the system is against me, that there's all sorts of injustice, and that no matter what I do, there's no way that I'll ever be able to get ahead. And Sho Baraka takes that overarching narrative and then he tries to approach it by saying, well, maybe it's both. Maybe that this is a land of opportunity, but that simultaneously there are a history of great injustices, everything from racial equality, sexual equality, all the way down the line to just even how people have an understanding of like kids with special needs and how to live in that situation, the welfare system, all that. So he's talking about changing that narrative, while still being faithful to a true narrative of what his heritage has been like, and just sort of talking about that. That's the overview. I don't know if we'll have time to go track by track, but if y'all have your playlists up, please have it up so we can discuss it, so we know which track I'm talking about. But let's start it off. Any of the first 5 tracks: Forward, Soul, Kanye, Love, or Here. We can kick it off. Whoever wants to hit it first. Let's talk about these first 5 tracks as an overview of what stuck out to either of you within the first 5 tracks, how you felt about it, etc.
Jazz explosion, man. I mean, like I think the first time I turned it on, I texted Julian and I was like, "This is an album I could actually play with my wife in a car on a date." And it would still be dope. I was like, man, like just the forward, just going into the album. I was like, man, this is different. Like most albums. Good Religion did a good job on making the intro like just hit you right in the chest. And Sho just came in and did the same thing. It's a underutilized thing in a lot of things that I've seen where people don't come in strong with the intro. They'll throw a weak track in the beginning and then they'll build to the middle and then they'll come back down to the end. But he literally did it. He did it kind of. It was almost like a V. Like how he made this. It's the first track goes into Soul, and then into Kanye, and then into Love. Each one of them joints they still had that soul feeling to it. But you could tell, that there was a build up, and then we got to Here, 2016. I was like, oh snap, like that was I wasn't expecting that, like from him and Lecrae. Like I was like, now that is that's a solid track. But yeah, they I said sound like sonically, like I said, you could put that in with old folk, you could put that in with like Like I really do believe this album is 30 and up. I don't mean no harm to people under that at all. No offense. But like it's one of those things. I look at it, I was like, you gotta have an old soul to appreciate what he did with this. Like if you're under 30, you have to have a 30-year-old soul, because he really brought in something that makes you think. It mellows you out. It doesn't overhype you. Like I didn't get that from any of the tracks, where it felt like you were just being so pumped up. You just like feel your adrenaline pumping. Where it was just mellow, but you could get the message, the entire album. So out of the first 5 tracks, though, I gotta go on with like with Kanye is just my jam. I ain't gonna lie. Kanye 2009 is just ridiculous. Like especially got to the point he's talking about my white friends think I'm all about black power. My black friends living in the Ebony Tower, and I was like, okay, you just hit on like 5 different issues, and and they say they keep it real, but they say they got it real, but why they act so fake? That line, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Say you got it real, why you act so fake? I was like, man, you're hurting our feelings, man, in a good way, because the beat was very nice, you know. but the album, like I said, like the first 5 tracks, like you could tell it was a setup coming, and then he mellowed you back out like with track 6. So.
And just for clarity, for anybody who's unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, we're going through the first. We're just having a brief discussion about the first 5 tracks of Sho Baraka's album, The Narrative, which was published by Humble Beast Records. It's his debut album with Humble Beast Recordings, but it's his 3rd studio recording. And the first 5 tracks of the album, it's called Forward, 1619, Soul, 1971, Kanye, 2009, featuring Jackie Hill Perry. Kanye West is not on the track. It's just he's making sort of an allusion towards Kanye West because, you know, Kanye.
Yes, this is my Kanye riff. Yeah. Everybody.
Sometimes there's some truth mixed up in it. Sometimes it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he's likening what he has to say to getting it off his chest to like Kanye. So for anybody who's thinking it's not Kanye West is not on the song. It's not a diss. It's not a Kanye diss. It's not that. The next track, number 4, is called Love, 1959, and the track number 5 is called Here, 2016, featuring Lecrae. So just so that anybody doesn't get it twisted, we're going to take the tracks by blocks, just given that we have limited time to do our session today. Just getting first thoughts on that. So Heather, first thoughts on the first 5 tracks of this album. Like, where were you at? What were you thinking? How were you feeling? What's the music? How does the music like hit you? Like all that. Heather, still there? She gone?
I think she just dropped.
Ooh. Let me see if I can get Heather back.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all gravy.
While we are trying to get Heather back in, I will say that out of the first 5 tracks, the Kanye 2009 was super dope, no doubt about it in my mind. But I have to say that the first track, Forward, which was super low key, featuring Adon Beam, that even though he wasn't credited there, dope. Spoken word artist out of Atlanta.
That was in track 1, right?
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure.
Forward. Yeah, that was Forward. Yeah.
So Forward, 1619 was. I still go back to that one in the first 5, and then Here, 2016. Forward was so hard hitting, and then Adon's contribution to that was ridiculous. I thought his spoken word piece was out of like it was on point.
That's good.
I mean, he said, "Let me chiropractic break open the spine of this book." I basically leaned forward at that point. He had my attention. Like I was like, okay, I'm listening to you now. It was.
Yeah, he set the tone.
So, but yeah, he set the tone for that. He really helped. I mean, Sho's lines were dope. No doubt at all. It was the perfect combination between the two. And then Here, 2016, featuring Lecrae. Let me just start off by saying, because a lot of people probably aren't going to pay attention to this. If you're into Christian hip hop, you like are really a fan of the genre, I'm surprised if you don't know the name Swoop. Swoop used to be he was actually one of the founding members for Collision Records. He was on the We Live as Kings album. He's got a lot of really dope stuff in his discography. Swoop produced this track. So the 808s, the keys, all that's Swoop doing his thing. And so the combination of Sho Baraka's hard-hitting lyrics and Swoop on the board, mixing and producing this thing, then you're going to flip over, and then you got like Lecrae coming in with some, like out the gate. Lecrae came with some crazy bars. Like, I mean, Lecrae can rap, but I don't always think that, he's not always a rapper's rapper to me, if that makes sense. But he came out like a rapper's rapper on that. And that left a lasting impression. The vibe was just nuts.
It was good. Like he, like I'm gonna be real. Like just go ahead and list my favorite 2 real quick. My Hood USA 1937. We already talked about this piano break, 33 AD. And most definitely, I gotta go with excellent. Goodness gracious, excellent is real good. Like that one was when I was driving to Charleston and driving like literally on the drive there, passing through like cotton fields, miles and miles of cotton fields. Man, I mean it was incredible. And I just had to like pull my car over just to look at that joint. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I saw slaves out there. Not like right now, but I'm talking about just
You can see it in your mind.
I can see it in my brain, man. I was like, whoa. Like just seeing like where it is. I already know the slaves planting them fields, man. But it was like I drove, I counted it, I reset my mileage. And when I was driving, I was like, let me see how many miles this is. It was like 5 or 6 miles cotton field, man. I was like, yo, they had to be. They were deep too. I mean, you could tell the woods were carved back because they were in the I forget the shape, but it's like it's a wind barrier shape, so that way they had to worry about stuff flying away from them. Like, but I was like, goodness, yeah, like excellent came on. I was like, My Hood USA came on. I was like, yeah, that was a tougher drive that day, just looking at all that. But then the thankfulness just kicked in, and just thankful. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not saying all of them, but most of us came from a descendant that was out there. That started right there on the edge of the water, and that's what they were doing all day, all day. You know what I'm saying? Like they only got to sleep when they were told to sleep. They didn't get to sleep all the way, but their DNA is still in us, and we still here. Like that joint is crazy. I was like, man, that's a lot of cotton field, whole lot of cotton field.
Yeah, I mean it is, and I get those thoughts. And just for clarity, just in case anyone has any question, Trevor's referencing My Hood USA 1937, which is track number 11 on Sho Baraka's album, and he was also referencing Excellent, which is track number 9 as well. So we will be talking about the just in case it isn't clear, when we're referencing stuff, we're talking about the specific tracks on the album. Heather just got back to me, and she was like, she's having some technical difficulties. She is trying to reboot her computer now.
Okay.
I gave her a back door back into the conversation I sent her, so as soon as she gets back up, she should be able to just jump right back in. As soon as she clicks the link I sent her, she should be able to get back in.
That's cool. Stuff happens.
And because just super low key, like just because just in case anybody's interested. Usually, I'm the one that initiates these these podcast things. I have an idea. Trevor felt more passionate about the last little series we went through with the daddy issues and stuff like that. So even though I wanted to do it, Trevor really took the lead on a lot of that, and it was really challenging discussion for the two of us, on air and off air. Honestly, this time the person whose idea was to be able to go through the narrative was Heather. She was the one who said she wanted to do it. I was like, oh well, I guess we're gonna have to do it then. If Heather got some words on it, we definitely need to try to make it happen as quickly as possible. So I don't want the night to go through, if we don't at least get Heather's word on it, if at all possible. So while we're waiting for Heather to come back, I guess I'll just ask a random series of questions, and I guess we can chop it up. So Trevor and I are different. We got a lot of similarities. We got a lot of differences. I produce music, so I'm always looking at things from the producer's aspect, and then the words. The words are really important, but I'm looking at it as a body of work, and I'm looking at it as a sonic piece, as a sonic contribution, as something that interests the senses and is attempting to communicate. And then I look at what's actually being communicated. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of a producer. So that in mind, sonically, I thought the album was outstanding. I mean, Braille from Humble Beast, he mixed and mastered the whole darn on analog tape, which is almost a lost art these days. And so I thought Braille did a great job doing the final mix and doing the final mastering for it. After all the production, the tracks and lyrics and stuff were in, thought Braille was off the chain. I mean, and I love the fact that he mixes on analog tape. It comes out warmer, it comes out louder, You get to hear more details of the music, even on an MP3 format. You just are getting a better product out of it. Nate, the beat breaker, who's Lecrae's drummer, he did a lot of the production, and then Jamie Porti, who's Sho Baraka's friend, who did a lot of them. So between the beat breaker and James Portier, almost all the production was done there. Swoop came in and did some, and I think there's at least one or two other producers who did some stuff. I think Courtney Orlando, aka JR, also did some production, I think, on at least 2 tracks for this album. So you had a lot of really good, rich production. The stuff was a lot of live band instrumentation. Is some experimental sounds and stuff like that were put in there, but there was a tremendous amount of live instrumentation, and that's kind of rare for a hip hop album these days. I thought the sound was tremendous. I mean, it's just dope music. It sounds like grown folk music with the jazz and the soul influences, the little super low key funk that's going on, and then every now and then they have to ratchet it up a little bit with a little bit of some trap elements with the heavy 808s and stuff like that. They do that a couple times on here, but
that was excellent right there, man. Goodness. Excellent was that. I was like, y'all need to stop this. I'm glad we didn't have a whole album of that, man. I was like, I can't listen to that song and go into a store, afterwards. I have to like calm down. On a hook, man. I was like, stop it. It's like whispering, don't do it anymore. It was so good. Yeah. Yeah.
So in my opinion, sonically, it was not meant for the kids. It was not meant for somebody 20 years and younger. Doesn't mean that years and younger can't appreciate it, but it's clear that it was aimed at an older, more mature market, with the fact that it's so much jazz influence in there, so much soul influence in there, and that's just not really what a lot of the kids, especially from the black community, are really listening to right now. They're listening to Yachty, they're listening to Plies, they're listening to what was that Trap Queen dude that's got one eye, whose name I can't remember right now. They're listening to that dude. They're listening to a lot of these young cats, Young Thug, all of them dudes. They're listening to that group of people. So to hear these influences that are coming back, Al Green influences, James Brown influences and stuff like that, old school. I was thrilled because I was raised up on that. I was raised up on on that old style, the Stevie Wonders, all that stuff. That's what we listened to at home. So I really enjoyed that. Lyrically, look, Sho Baraka, he to me, just my opinion, like, and no shade on Sho Baraka, he has had some shining moments in the past that have really blown me away in singles. I've always loved the concepts of where he was trying to approach in his music, but I didn't always think that his flow, and I didn't always think that his the way that the end result, the end product of what was communicated was always palatable or stylistically consistent. But I know that when he really gets in the pocket and when he really gets in his zone, Sho is a force to be reckoned with. And for the majority of this album, he brought that stuff. He brought it. He could stand toe to toe with anybody who got in the booth with him. Like, he didn't get lost against Lecrae, which Lecrae is not known for being like a hard hitting lyricist necessarily. He's a really decent rapper, but he's not necessarily like the first thing that comes to mind when people think of Lecrae is not necessarily bars, if that makes sense. But Lecrae bought bars, and Sho went in there with a sledgehammer too. Jackie Hill Perry, she's an animal. She's one of the best rappers alive. Like, don't let nobody fool you. She's one of the best rappers alive. And Sho held his own in there. He did not get buried.
She addressed that joint in Kanye too. She was like, "Oh, what are you trying to say? There ain't a whole lot of female rappers." I was like, "Oh, snap." I was like, "Oh, buddy, I hope nobody said it to her." But more than likely somebody has.
She's one of the best rappers alive, hands down. Like, she's super dope. And Sho, even with all these great lyricists and all the features and stuff, like, he didn't get lost on it. Like, he was on point. The rapping was good. It was really, really good, and it presented his heart's desire of presenting this alternate narrative all the way through.
Yep.
This was an A album to me. It was a 9 out of 10. That's how I feel sonically and lyrically. So what were your thoughts sonically and lyrically, like from your perspective, not being a producer, but just being a person who really appreciates the words, or who really appreciates the message that's being conveyed?
Like, he, I think that the collaborations that he chose were very, very strategic. He chose people that right now, in this narrative that he wanted to speak, has a voice and has been making themselves known the entire time. Lecrae has not backed down about these issues that we've had in our community, you know, with the killings of black men and women. Neither has Jackie Hill Perry. Not one of them have backed down. Both of them have been very, very vocal, and they were given an outlet once again to speak. You know, which I think was probably more therapeutic for both of them too, because Lecrae has he just made that track. I forget the name of it. It was dope. Recently, and he put it on his Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and it was pretty good too. But I know that those guys, you know, they carry a little bit more weight when it comes to speaking up about social injustices. And Sho Baraka, he's actually learned in a lot of that stuff. You know, he's done the research, he's done that stuff. You know, he didn't want to come from a perspective, you know, that it just didn't seem like he didn't care. Mm-hmm. So like when he took it lyrically to explain, you know, the issues that he see with like not just black people, but like just with in general, like what's going on in the world, and also including the narrative of Jesus in the middle of everything. I mean, I gotta give him an A+. I mean, because like there was not a track on this album that was a wayside track. You know, where you like, why was that in there? You know, like there's a lot of albums I've listened to in the past like 2 years that you know, they have throwaway tracks. Like the only album that I think outside of this one that didn't have a throwaway was Thizzle Against All Odds, because he was telling a story the entire time. It was the entire time. Every single track was a story, a piece of a story. And Sho Baraka treated this just like that. So like on the lyric side, you know, you could tell he was telling a story, especially when you got to My Hood USA. My Hood USA was a thumper, like not like just lyrically, because he's like, oh yeah, this is a story about injustice. You like, hold up, what? You know, like then you have to go back and listen to the whole thing again. You're like, oh snap, you know. But he laid it down, you know, very, very well. Even until the last track. The last track, like me and Julian had debates about the last track in Piano Break, 33. I think it's 33 AD. Piano Break is my favorite song on that album, just because it's almost as if he's asking himself a conundrum question. He's like if I'm what's good, I must have missed something. If I'm what's good, I must have missed something. You know, or if God ain't good, I must have missed something. God ain't good, I must have missed something. You know, like he's like it's almost like he's toiling with the question, you know. But like you said, lyrically is astounding to me. I mean, like he did an excellent job. Like in on the sonic side, I'm not as learned on the sonic side, but you can tell that to me it felt like from the forward to the Piano Break, they all borrowed a bit of the same sound going directly to the last track, and like that's also a bit of cohesiveness that you normally don't see. Not in a whole lot of music. A lot of music now is like, you know, it's almost like mixtapes, you know, where everything is, you'll get one track that sounds like a trap star beat, you know, like just trap music, straight trap music. And then the next one is like gangster, you know, rap sound, you know, like just hard thumps, low pitches. And you're like, okay. And then the next one is like jazz and so forth and so on. You're like, I don't know what the world's going on here with the beats, but this one was put together very well. Like he made sure that the sound consistently stayed within the same thing, almost as if you were watching a spoken word poem. Like that. I think that was a cool thing about, like, it's almost like if you were sitting in an audience. Hello, Heather. Welcome back.
Hey.
It's like you see the spoken, like it's like if you were in an audience, like I can see him performing this a cappella, like no beat, every single track, and I think that's a weird and cool thing to be able to do, because I saw him practicing for one of the things he was doing, just doing Kanye with no beat, and I was like, that joint still sounds good, you know, like that's yeah, I mean, like he could actually go to like a regular club and get like probably 200-300 people, you know, like, and it's almost like he's doing spoken word. Every single song is pretty much like spoken word. And what's the name of the guy that did the poem in the very beginning?
Don Bean. Yeah.
Don Bean, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like he
I know
monster.
you've heard this stuff before,
Yeah.
like on Alex Faith's album Bloodlines. He was
That's him.
you know who I'm talking
Okay.
about? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't.
As an animal, son. He's an animal.
Yeah. He did that thing. I mean, it was very well done. Like he set the tone, and the rest of the people, like Sho Baraka and whoever he had featured, carried it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So I mean, like to me, like I'm with you, like 4.5 out of 5, just because I got 6 albums in my car that I keep in rotation, and I always do this, a cheap plug, but I got to give it to my boy Thizzle. Sorry, yeah, like that's my dude. I'm just keeping it real. Like Julian called him a spirit animal. I'm actually down with that. That's pretty much right. Yeah, like so, but I've had Sho on rotate since the album dropped. I mean, like just like every time I go into something, I'm like, I have to go back to it because it sounds so good. So it's good.
Well,
good stuff.
So one more question before we transition over to Heather. Then, like, how would you say, as a product, how this stacks up against a mainstream album? Because Trevor, I know you go way back. You was a Jay-Z. You knew good music, and you hung out with dudes who knew good music and enjoyed good music. I mean, when Prince died, you was upset. Like, so that's was part of.
Don't talk about it.
Too soon.
Yeah,
Too
like
soon,
that.
Julian.
I'm just saying.
For real. Like just throwing it out there, man. I was healing.
All insensitive language.
Yeah, I'm still healing from that, man. That dude.
I'm hurt too. I was trying to validate you. I was trying to validate.
Nah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Like that dude. That dude was a family member, son. I mean, in my household, at least. I mean, one of the first movies I remember watching, I should have never watched it as a kid, but one of the first movies I remember watching was Purple Rain. That joint came out the year I was born. You know what I'm saying? Like that's yeah. All right, so off that, but yeah, I would
stack up to mainstream music. Is it good music?
Yeah, I mean, like I would. You know what, man? I was playing it in my car. When I was coming home, and like my neighbor, she usually gets a good bit of guys to just congregate. Most of them cats is playing straight trap music. I mean, it's boom, 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 boom. That's all you hear. It's that's pretty much how all of them rap now. I don't know why, but that's how all of them rap, and they make millions of dollars. I'm seriously, yeah. So but they heard me playing Narrative, and it was on Excellent. Like, and they was sitting there like, yo, man, who that is? Oh, that's Sho Baraka. And they're like, who? They don't know who the dude is. They're like, Sho Baraka, who that is? You know what I'm saying? I was like, if you want a copy, man, I'll get you a copy, man. And he was like, damn, I need to thump that. This dude got 808s all in. He got everything in his car. I mean, that dude, you get that cat coming a mile away. Like, literally. I'm not exaggerating. You're like, oh, he on his way. Okay. Yeah, but he was like, I need that in my car. Like that's so he could actually put that album out. I think the beauty of it is that I think the danger also with a lot of Christians, they he don't say Jesus a whole lot. He ain't got to. He don't have to. Jesus didn't say Jesus the Lord a whole lot either. Like you really read the scriptures, he actually didn't. So the message was there. It was always a narrative. He was always speaking in parables because he knew folk wouldn't understand if he just told them correctly, like what's going on. Folk were like that now. So, I'm gonna hook them up with the album. That's how dope this album is. I mean, like I couldn't do that with Good Religion. I tried. They didn't want Good Religion. I'm like, it was like, it's cool, man. I told that's a West Coast. I said it then. I said now that's a West Coast album. That's not an East Coast album. That's the vibes for that right there is strictly West Coast. But yeah, like it stacks up there. I mean, like I think about Blueprint. How Blueprint was, and Blueprint was the same way. Like from track 1 to the last track, there was a narrative being driven. I'll even go back to Volume 3. Like just Life and Times of Sean, Life and Times. What was it? Can't remember if I don't know. I forget. Yeah, but Volume 3. I remember it's called Volume 3. I remember Dope Man. You know what I'm saying? Like just that was my track when I was a kid. And knowing hearing him tell the story off of that. Sho Baraka just has a way of telling that tale and keeping your interest, man. And that's transcended like the Christianese, if you feel what I'm saying. You know, like it's not Christianese, it's just language. And I think because of that, it makes it a strong album.
I'm sure Sho would be flattered and honored and maybe slightly gassed to hear you, mention his body of work in the same breath as like Jay-Z with, Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, Life and Times. He would be probably honored to hear you, reference the narrative ability with a great like Jay-Z in the same breath.
I know cats would like straight dispute me, which I understand. Like they have a
The album is
They
dope.
were straight, yeah. That's they were straight dispute me, but we don't get a whole lot of narrative albums anymore. It's just I'm just gonna make some songs, and just throw them out. Like that's what we get now. So
that said, I'm gonna give the floor to Heather because, like I said earlier, this was Heather's idea. She was. I was like, oh, then we have to do a podcast on this then. So, Heather, tell us why you wanted to do this, and then tell us like however you want to approach the album, like what you were thinking, what you were feeling, how the music hit you, like why did we have to talk about this, and what's been going on with you that made this like this. Do what you got to do. Tell us.
All right. Well, like when I first heard like the album, like I saw one of my friends posted the picture of the dude with some lyrics underneath. I had no idea who he was, honestly, and I forget what lyrics were posted. That were posted, but I was like, oh, let me check that out. And then like I started listening. Like I just like was on iTunes and pressed the preview button. I was like, and then I was like, let me just buy this. And then like I just couldn't put it down. Like it was just so raw. It's a very raw, real, and relevant piece of work, and like that storytelling was just so phenomenally done to where it's like, oh, I can relate to that. Oh, I know someone that can relate to that. Oh, wow, like he just covered 6 issues in one bar. Like, like, right, like how do you do that? Like, so like I just knew like we had to talk about it because people need to hear this. Like it was so well done that it was amazing. I guess like I'll just like my top 3. My favorite song on the album was Words, Words 2000. And
I can feel on that.
That one was like, I feel like since like I do spoken word, I do poetry, like I love lyrics and I love like just a good story. And I feel like that just like, it was just so raw that it's like, oh, I want to listen to this guy because I don't think he's going to lie to me. So.
Can you tell us a little bit about the song? Like, what do you understand the song to be about, and what did you get from it very specifically on that?
Well, like the opening is clearly like a child with special needs, and like since I work with children with special needs, like I thought that was like really connecting like different people groups that a lot of artists don't connect with. Like Trevor was talking about today that you put 90CQ on here and it's like trap, drugs, and like and things like that. It's like, okay, like it's a good beat, but it's not reaching everyone, and I thought that was really well done and really just this raw. This is what I think of, like raw, pure, like I'm exposing myself and like my inner struggles and other people's struggles to the world. That's what I really liked about Words 2000. And just like different things like that, like I can relate to. Like one of his lines was trying not to trust therapy more than I trust God. And it's like all these different things that like I feel like Christians go through but we don't speak about. Like
don't talk about them at all.
Exactly. And we put on like our Christianese and we put on our Sunday clothes and like
bless the highly favored of the Lord.
Right. And it's like, wow, like he's talking about like a lot of inner struggles that I've going through or I've gone through. And it's just like, wow, like people need to hear this because I feel like this is what, like Trevor was saying, like he doesn't really mention Jesus, like the name Jesus very much. And but I think that's okay because like he's talking from a Christian, like a perspective of a Christian, and he represents the gospel, like the true gospel, stuff that really gets people saved and like into a real relationship with Jesus to where they can be where we can be transparent with our Lord and Savior.
And just in case anybody questions the Christianity of it, like the very last track is like, it's the gospel. It's the piano break, 33 AD. He's talking about Jesus, and he's talking about how he's not Jesus.
Pretty much.
And he brings everybody else into the conversations. He talks about all kinds of worldviews and perspectives and habits and stuff like that. I said, well, if I'm what's good, if God is subjective, and if what's really good about the world is me, then I must miss something, because I know I'm not God. So if I'm what's good, I must have missed something. So that's the thought he leaves you with.
Right. And that challenges the whole worldview that's set up in life. Like, because what our current worldview says, it's all about me.
Yes.
I am what's good. And he's saying no. Like, so it's like, but he does it gently, to not where in a way where you feel attacked.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, this is real. Like, this dude's just being straight up. He's not skirting around any issues. He's just laying it out there, which is, I appreciate.
And I don't know if anybody noticed it. Before I let you get back to that, I don't know if anybody noticed that, because I haven't heard any of the bloggers talking about this. I haven't seen this in the reviews, and I didn't even really hear Sho Baraka talk about this during his 3-hour podcast that he did about the album. He went track by track. They played every track, and he explained, what each track was about. Did you notice that piano break, when it's done, it rolls right into the first track? Like, literally, piano break could be the first track if you wanted it, and it flows into the whole album. So the entire album is cyclical, and it was designed that way. It was designed such that at the very end, you can now see the whole album over again with the lens of what you got at the end, and then you see the album completely differently.
That's how I've been listening to it.
That's some music nerdery for me. Sorry about that.
I didn't have no technical terms, but that's how I've been listening to the album. Yeah, like it's just on repeat. Yep. That's good stuff.
But please, back at it. I just wanted to hit that little music nerdery right there with it,
Yeah, so this well done album, the features with Jackie Hill Perry, phenomenal, love her. Lecrae, phenomenal, love him. Like, it was just as soon as oh, this song's good, like track 1, track 2, and then it just kept getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Adon's spoken word in the intro? Like did that catch your attention at all? Because I felt like, I don't know, that it made me. I was like, okay, I'm vibing. Whoa, what's happening here?
Right.
I don't know if that's what happened to you at all. We're all different.
Well, what kind of happened to me is when I got it on iTunes, it was on random play, so I didn't actually listen to it the first time in the order that it is designed to be listened to.
Gotcha.
I think the first one I listened to was Father's. So
that's a crazy place to come in.
I'm like, oh wow, and I think that's good because I love those I love the deep, meaty songs. So that really hooked me in instantly.
He did an excellent job on Fathers. So I can't think of I'm looking at it just I'm like, I can't find a weakness. I mean, even in his playfulness and love, is I mean, he said, "Cause the keys are trying to tell you how much I'm feeling you, baby." I mean, that got me. I was like, I'm done. I was like, this is a date song, literally, but it's good.
What did you think of that, Heather? Because I mean, this isn't like any hip hop albums that are really coming out right now. The sound of it is completely different. There's a lot of live instrumentation, which unless you're Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or something like that, that's just not it's not in your budget to do live instrumentation on an album. So how did that, what did that do for your experience in it, having all this live instrumentation, and then the fact that it was so jazz and soul centered?
I agree with Trevor. It's definitely a 30 and up album. Because it takes so much of those elements. I feel real hip hop when Jay and Nas and all them people were out and doing their thing. It felt more like that than it did some of the artists that we have out now, which I prefer the more old school, the narratives, the storytelling, the Brenda's Got a Baby kind of stuff by Tupac. I loved it. that's why I was like, have you heard this? Like, we need to talk about this. Of course you heard it. Like, stupid question, but
I have
Yeah.
I probably have too much free time for a married man with a kid. I probably listen to too much music to actually have responsibilities.
a full-time job, all that.
Full-time job, super low key. Sometimes, shout out to Gotcha College. It's a great place to work. But I do listen to music as I work. It's, so that I can spread positivity in the office. And this is the kind of positivity that you can spread. We're in a time right now where there's so much where racial injustice for the first time in a couple decades is really in the public eye in a way that it hadn't been in a while. And where I work at, that's one of the things that we're working on. Is we're working on inclusion, we're working on justice, on different levels socially, but also like racially, sexually. Like we're working on that whole inclusion thing as an institution, and it's a privilege to work at an institution that takes the equality of humanity seriously and tries to give dignity to all human beings. So listening to this gives me the juice to be able to try to treat my fellow man as myself, to treat my neighbor as myself, to try to work out that second commandment, which is, the first, loving God with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, but then to love my neighbor as myself. This is the kind of music that allows you to do that, to have that, to get it in you so that you can give it out.
Right.
So, it was good. Did you? I don't know how much you are aware of it, but he really is he's talking a lot about the false dichotomy of how our nation historically looks at issues. They think that you either just need to work hard and you're going to be able to get that American dream and do well, or you have that other side where we just have these people here who are making a lot of excuses and they're just using this system. They're always talking about this injustice when there is no injustice. Like I've heard that so many times recently, that there's no such thing as racism anymore, that racism was the thing when Martin Luther King was assassinated and the civil rights thing was done, it was over.
Right.
And it seems that Sho Baraka is really attacking that false dichotomy that, well, maybe there's a little bit of both. Maybe there is a lot of opportunity here, but maybe there's a crap ton of injustice and systemic problems that maybe it's not just people being lazy, that they really do have things against them. And how do we bridge that gap to bring people up?
Yeah, I think in the Kanye 2009 with Jackie Hill, the line that like really stood out to me was, "And why ain't no Whole Foods in the hood? All I see is fast foods. Can we eat good?" And I was like, okay, like, and then it's like, so it's like things like that. I think like he's showing that, like, okay, we're not like minority, African American, Black people aren't being given a lot of the opportunities, even like just good food. Like, why can a kid go to the corner store and buy Cheetos and a Huggy, and like why are children obese? Because their moms are working 3 jobs, dads aren't around, and they just go to the corner store to get food. But there's no Whole Foods. There's no money to even shop at Whole Foods, even if there was a Whole Foods in the hood. So it's like
truth.
He shows like he's putting light on these issues that weren't. It's like there, but no one's talking about it.
Yep.
So it's like
that was one of my favorite lines too. Like I was like, I witnessed that this morning, Heather. Like I was actually just in Kroger, and as a gentleman in the Kroger, that nobody would help him. They just kept passing him by. He was in the organic section because he's trying to do this because I think his wife is ill. But he's got like his hat cocked to the side, long tee.
Right.
So immediately they're like cold red, just stay around him and watch that dude, make sure he ain't stealing them. But he was just perplexed because he didn't know really what gluten was. He was
right.
So he was something like, I was like, you need a second opinion, bro. And he was like, yeah. I talked to him and guided him, like I'm like, no, just get this right here for her. She'll be safe. You won't have to worry about her getting sick. And he was like, man, I ain't never like look. He said, I never had to look at nothing like this, man. He's like, no, just buy food.
Right.
And I was like, we were living to eat, bro. Now you eat and live.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the but like I recognize that like there's a plethora of people. Like in the morning, there's like at least 18 employees from Kroger just walking around. This is no indictment against Kroger because Kroger's actually not that bad. But like it was, you could tell that he wasn't gonna be a main focus. You know, like it was, they just walked right past him. I was like, Say, well, and say like I was like, well, since I'm in here, I said, let me talk to my boy real quick, see what's going on. You know, like so yeah, man, like that line is true. Like I saw that joint live in color. Yeah, it's not right. It's not, because I think about that myself, especially like me. I'm taking it personal because of what happened to me last year, and like the mindset that I had on food last year. And just thinking about, oh, you just gotta eat, you know, and then you find out that your body is like trying to not to self-destruct. And you're like, why is my body self-destructing? And then you find out all this stuff about food, and you're like, whoa, why was I never taught that? You know, like your health class didn't even teach it that when I grew up, you know. So yeah, but he made a vehement point the entire way through the album. And that one line has like 6 issues in, like you said before.
Right.
Like starting with how people actually allot like properties and things of that nature, like how they do a
and
segregation.
he covers that too.
Yeah, like all that is in there. So yeah.
It was just like layered upon layer upon layer of like issues that he like presented just very like poetically.
Yeah.
He did. It was super dope. The record was super dope. It gets an A. Like it's an A. It's good work, and it's music you can ride to. Like it's super dope.
Been riding to it since it came out.
and I know we're over time, and I know that we're about at the end.
Cool.
Anybody have any closing thoughts? Or did we do closing thoughts?
I just think it's an awesome album. I can't put it down. Like, it's awesome.
You know what? I'm gonna throw this in there too. I really do believe that people have mislooked or mistook the picture on the album. They need to actually take a second look.
You looking like Frederick Douglass, son. Like that was intentional.
Thank you. That's like that. That's a point that I don't think people actually paid that much attention to that, because like even like so. He did a little clip, you know, with
for folks who live in Baltimore, like you should pay attention to this. Like Frederick Douglass is from Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah.
Like he
accident.
Yeah, like that was on purpose. You know, like even like I think he did like a one little third. That's like a minute clip from Kanye where he was like posed up and he had his shoulders real stiff, like to take the picture. And he, you know, he turned to the camera and was like, you know, he was like this to the camera, and he was like just talking to the camera like this, and he did the, you know, my white friends think I'm all about black power. My white friend, like my black friends living in the Ebony Tower. He was actually keeping the same face as them. He got to the last part. He's changed his face to the stiff look, like Frederick, you know. And I was like, if you don't see that, that's the demeanor that the man has going into the album. You know you're about to get slapped.
Right.
I mean, like he's about to give you an intellectual pimp slap in a couple of seconds. Like it was coming. You know, I was like, when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, I'm buying this album. Like immediately, just I was like, I'm buying this album. I hadn't even heard a track from it, and Julian knows this. Like I don't buy albums a whole lot. You know, like if I'm buying an album, it's gotta be doggone good. You know, and I was like, nah, I'm buying this.
Well,
like, what?
I've kept you supplied here lately, though.
Yeah,
like,
you know, but this one, I was like, nah, I got this, man.
A lot of good music here in the last year. You've heard some dope music, so
this one, I was like, nah, I need to get this man some money.
Heather will tell you too. I'm like the dealer. Like I'm always like giving people music. People music. So So we're at the end of the podcast. Thank you for everybody who was watching and everything like that. Definitely check us out on Twitter. Was at Empty Wonderland. On Facebook is Empty Wonderland Collective, and then on Tumblr we're Empty Wonderland Collective there as well. All the stuff down there is in the description. If you want to cop the album for free, which I really think you should just support the ministry and get the 4 extra tracks that come with it if you get it from iTunes, because you're not going to get those 4 bonus tracks.
They are
That
worth
was
it.
only like $10, right? $9.99.
Like,
Yeah,
no,
it's $10.
you're gonna blow that at
Yes.
McDonald's. Let's be 100
Yeah,
about that. You're gonna blow,
yeah.
you know.
Don't
Just
go to Starbucks a couple days, right?
You
you
can't
look.
say that, man. Starbucks is Jesus to some people. You can't do that now.
Dunking over Starbucks all day.
How about this? How about? 'Cause I have no shade on Starbucks, but how about you put down the black Jesus in a cup, and then hear about the real Jesus at the end of this album? Like
Yeah.
Right.
just sacrifice a cup of Starbucks and get some real Jesus instead of the Jesus, with creamer. So that
Yeah.
this is a
Put the
suggestion.
pumpkin spice down. and get the $9.99 off that one cup that you're gonna throw away and be mad that it's done. You can keep listening to this.
Less calories.
Less
right?
calories.
Right. Good for the health, the soul.
Good for everything, like them dudes is not. They don't care about you. They want your $10, man. This dude, $10 is gonna take care of his fam.
It is, and like for anybody who might not know, like Heather mentioned words early, when she was talking about songs that impressed her, songs that stuck out, and it's clear that it was a kid with some special needs in there. For full disclosure, no shade, this is public information and stuff. Sho said himself, he's got 2 children that are on the autistic spectrum, and he's wrestled with that. And then when he had a shift in his finances after leaving Reach and everything like that, he's trying to figure out how to provide for his family, and then trying to figure out how to provide for a family that has special needs kids while on welfare.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost impossible to do. It's really difficult to be able to do that, and so he even has a line about it on the album and said, "Well, I hated welfare until I was on it."
Was on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, hated cops until you needed them help, needed their help.
So they got robbed, right?
Yeah, they got robbed. Like I needed their help. Now where you at, cops?
This isn't going to put Sho Baraka in a Bentley. This is helping him. This is what he does for a living. And this is what's going to help him to pay his bills and to take care of his kids who need their dad. So definitely cop the album, support the man, and then give an album as a gift. If you give it to some other people because they need it so that they can purchase and support. This is something good to put the money in that can help your hood, that can help your community, that can help you be a little more woke and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Before we close out, anybody seen the 13th on Netflix?
On Netflix. I just watched that today.
Oh man, Trevor, you seen it yet?
Yeah, I watched it on Thursday. Yeah, I
We
always get that stuff out of the way because that's like PTS. That's like post traumatic stress disorder.
yeah,
This was being real. No, like you can't. Yeah,
what says makes sense to you. You remember what Killer Mike said? Like, because you and I were discussing that at one point. Where Killer Mike, half of Run the Jewels, who was the loudest Bernie supporter when Bernie was still in the race, a lady in one of his talks asked Killer Mike and said, "Well, look, I know you supporting Bernie and everything like that, but if you are all Black Power and everything, why don't you just start a revolution?" And he turned to the lady and was like, "Look, I'm old enough to remember when in my hood folks grew their own vegetables, they had animals, they made their own clothes and stuff like that. I said, I'm old enough to remember that. So do you know how to make your own clothes?" Lady was like, "No." Do you have your own vegetable garden? And she was like, "No."
Nope.
They said, do you know how to do any of this domestic stuff? No. I said, "Well, how about this? Do you get gas from BP?" She's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Do you shop at Amazon? Yes. You shop at Walmart? Yes. He said, "You're not ready to revolutionize nothing." After having watched that, I'm like, oh, the Public Enemy #1 thing makes sense in a way that didn't really connect with my brain before. Like, so, anybody who's watching this, if you have not gone onto Netflix and watched a documentary called 13, you need to do it. If you're Black and you don't know Black history, you need to do it.
Yep.
If you're white and you are related to anybody Black, or you want to at least be on friendly terms with anybody Black, you need to watch that. You need to watch it. We, as a country, we need to be aware of. There has been definitely systemic injustices that have been done against the natives who are already here, and then the people who are brought here to help cultivate the land. There's been a history of injustice, and we all play a part in it. No shade on one particular people group or on that or anything like that, but we all played a part in it, and we should be aware of what actually happened, and not just what we get fed to us on Facebook, not just what gets fed to us on social media. We should be aware.
Most of these folk will take a picture of Frederick Douglass or a picture of Nat Turner or somebody and throw a fake quote up there, and everybody's like, "Yeah, man, I see exactly." I'm like, that's not from them, man. You need to read. Like there's an old quote, an old head told me, and most people know it. I was a teenager, and I always read books. You know, and he looked at me and he said, "Son, you're exceptional." Because one of the things that most of our people won't do is read. And they said the biggest thing that the first thing they'll do if they want to hide something from a black man is they'll put it in a book.
Mm.
You know, and I thought about that joint. And I look at like how these kids and stuff, they only want to watch TV. They only want to do this. They only want to do certain things to make them feel good, but they don't want to actually have the discipline to just sit down and read and comprehend. And then we got to dance for them. No, I mean no harm to teachers and stuff that's doing that for their kids and stuff like that. But you have to see that there's a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to literally sit there and entertain them to learn. They need to learn. They need to be able to have that motivation on their own. And if they ain't gonna have that motivation on their own and they 15, 16, 20 years old and they still looking for somebody to dance for them to teach them how to read and write, we in a bad spot. You know, and that's for any race. They ain't just for black folk. That's for anybody. You know, like that we have to learn how to be able to read and comprehend on our own and see what world is going on. That's why most people misinterpret the Bible. They don't get it. You know, so
I think his computer died. She was
cool.
Yeah, she was telling me that that she was about to die, and I guess it did. She dropped.
Yeah.
Well,
it's cool.
Everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely, you know, check out our site. You see our social media stuff down there in the description. Definitely go support Sho Baraka's album, and who knows, we might do one of our next podcasts on the 13th. Oh yeah, go
get on that.
Humble Beast, humblebeast.com. Go there and support them. All their music on the site is for free, but if you really believe in supporting the arts, you need to get your butt on iTunes or Amazon or Google Play and support that. Or go to their online store and buy the physical CDs. If you're an old that likes the whole CDs, you know, go ahead and do that. But yeah, we got a book review coming. So stay tuned for that, and we might talk about this 13th thing in the near future. God bless. Grace and peace to you people.
Doses.